All right. We're doing a No Limits podcast. We're early on. This is my first real guest, Chris the Crippler Leben, the man. Welcome to my podcast, Chris.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's an honor, man. I've been a fan of yours since the first Ultimate Fighter. It's really cool to be able to talk to you.
Appreciate that.
This is a brand new podcast, and I'm doing this one with YouTube. My other podcast, Truth or Theory, is been around for a little while, but we're not on YouTube, so I'm doing this video thing. It's a little different for me. I got a 3D background for right now, so it looks a little strange back there.
Yeah.
So how you doing, man? How's the family? How's life during this pandemic?
I mean, dude, we're hanging in there. Honestly, not stoked about it, I mean, we got beautiful weather out here in Southern California, nothing to do. Can't sit down on the beach. Can't sit down at the park, can't go to the gym and do jiu-jitsu. It can't teach, can't make money. So it's a little trying, The only thing you can do is sit in your house and the weather's all good. I want to take the family out and do stuff,
Yeah, I feel you, man. We're in the same boat over here. I just recently started riding my bike again and trying to get some hiking in where we can. A lot of places are closed.
Yeah, we've been doing that. We've been doing a lot of hiking.
Yeah.
A lot of hiking, yeah.
As long as they leave that open, I will keep my sanity. But if they close that off, I will lose my sanity in no time.
Yeah, well, California, we were closed for a while. They just opened it up. So
yeah,
there was no beach whatsoever and no hiking for a while there.
That's crazy. And you got some beautiful area out there, too. I'm up in the Rocky Mountains north of Denver. We got some nice hike here, too.
There you go. It's finally getting nice out there, too. So
yeah, it's beautiful. Real sunny. The weather's starting to warm up for them. It's been a long winter. It's actually just starting to die out, and we're in the middle of May now, early May.
Yep.
It's been a long winter, so I'm ready to get some sun and get back in the mix.
There you go.
So you I'd like to talk about the referee thing first. We'll jump into that. What got you into becoming an MMA referee? That's one of my my little hidden passions that I would love to do as well. It's such a cool thing to get into.
Well, excuse me.
You're good, man.
Obviously, I've been a part of martial arts has been a part of my life for so long. I've fought, I've trained fighters, I've cornered fighters, and then when I retired initially from the UFC, I thought I'd never have a chance to fight again. And at that time, refereeing seemed like something that would keep me a part of the sport and allow me to stay connected. Little did I know how much it was really going to mean to me, now that I've been doing it for a few years, and after, going through Herb Dean's school and stuff, and, really I never gave the referees the credit that they deserve. I mean, it is a challenging job, it doesn't matter how many fights you corner or how many fights you've had, it's a whole different skill set, and having the right referee in there, I mean, our number one priority is, fighter safety, so I work here in California as a rep for Camo. That's the amateur organization, kind of, working my way up. And, it's my job to keep those guys safe. I want to give them every shot in the world, but at the same time also, I got to keep them safe, and I realize have been a fighter myself, I feel like that gives me, I guess not really credentials, but kind of a little better understanding of when a guy's in trouble, when a guy wants out, how much you can let a guy take, and it's important to have people in that role that can do that job with the utmost professionalism.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much stuff I'd like to unpack with that. It's interesting to me. The whole thing about knowing when a fighter wants out, I find very interesting too, because most casual fans and stuff don't realize what the guys are going through and girls in the octagon. When I know with pride as a fighter, you're not going to want to just admit that you have to get out, but sometimes you get an injury in the fight, or you don't feel like you're going to capitalize and get back into it. you're looking for a way out, but you don't want to fold and just tap out. There's like body language, and you guys all know that, and especially you being a former fighter, a veteran. How do you determine when a guy has had enough and he's kind of giving you the signal like, yeah, I'm done, man, call it?
Well, I mean, there's the blatant stuff, you know. Obviously, anytime you just turn away, anytime you go fetal, you know, anytime we can deem it not an intelligent defense, you know, that, you know. But sometimes, you know, when guys are hurt, you know, and you know that they really don't have a lot of options. Maybe really honestly winning the fight is out of their grasp at this point. They're taking unnecessary damage, you know. You know, that then you may have an issue where you go, you know, hey, look, I'm gonna call the doctor in, you know, we're gonna take a look at you and assess, you know, if we think this fight should continue. You know, now again, you know, that works both ways. Sometimes a guy wants to continue, and you know what? I think he's taken too much damage. You know, I know that, you know, short of a Hail Mary overhand or something, he really doesn't have a chance of winning this fight anymore. And in particular with the amateurs, you know, these guys they got to go to work on Monday. You know, they need to live to fight another day. So, you know, it's our job on both sides of the coin. You know, not just when a guy wants out, but when a guy needs out. You know, you don't ever want to let somebody take unnecessary damage because they're tough. You know.
Yeah, I find it interesting too that you are starting in the amateur leagues as a referee, even though you have all your credentials as a high level competitor, a black belt in jiu-jitsu, all those good stuff. But they still make you work your way up, and it's like a protocol, I'm assuming.
Well, yeah, I'm out here in California, and as far as commissions go, you know, we're the most by the book and together, in my opinion, together state that there is, you know. And absolutely, you know, when I started, I didn't even get to start repping. You know, I had to start by shadowing another ref, watching their movements. You know, started by judging a couple fights. You know, and then, you know, maybe one fight on the card, and then two. You know, so there is a progression. There's an order of operations, and you know, there's a procedure that they use out here, and honestly, I'm a fan of it. I wouldn't want to just jump up to the pros. You know, maybe in certain states I could have done that, you know, but if I were to make a mistake, I certainly.
I lost you for a second there. I don't know if you can hear me.
All right, are we back?
Yeah, we're good to go, man. You were
All right.
you were in the middle of saying that if you made a mistake at these
Yeah,
small organizations.
yeah. I mean, you're gonna, just like anything, you're gonna have growing pains, and as a referee, you want to make those, minimize them as much as possible, but you want to make those, a little lower down on the totem pole. You don't want to be in there refereeing the UFC and make a terrible call. You know
Right.
what I mean?
That makes good sense.
Fans aren't going to forgive you for that one,
Yeah.
So you better have your skill set down pat by the time you get to that level.
Yeah. Even the best guys make mistakes once in a while because everybody's human and they get eaten alive for it. There's like zero tolerance for anybody making an error, it seems like.
That's what I'm saying. It's a tough job. The fact of the matter is, when two people fight, one of them's going to lose, and that person's probably going to be unhappy, and they're going to, and sometimes they have a tendency to want to point the finger, that being said, also, I mean, you're making split-second decisions about people's safety. Obviously, we try to err on the side of caution, and because of that, sometimes, people can be left not feeling stoked about the decision. For example, this last UFC, you could see the Dominic Cruz was visibly not happy with that stoppage.
Mm-hmm.
But he took a huge knee, man, and he took a lot of shots coming back up. I mean, it's one of those things where it's up in the air. You know what I mean?
Right.
Would he have got up? Would he have been okay? Maybe, but maybe not. So
he could have pulled a Frankie Edgar and came back, or he could have got a serious injury from another blow that was about to land.
I mean, and so people always want to err on, a lot of people have a tendency to so easily side with the fighter, but it's like, listen, that ref is trying to protect you in there. You know what I mean? And he's making a split-second decision based on the information he has. And when you go back and you watch that stoppage like that, you go, well, that's how I probably would have made the same decision.
Right. Yeah, you got to protect the fighter. You never know what next blow is going to come, man. It could have been another knee because he was working back up, so he could have took another knee to the head too. Could have been real bad. Knocked some years off his life. One of my favorite personal comebacks is with you and Terry Morton. That fight was incredible, man. That pumps me up.
Oh, thank you.
So you have a hell of a career of highlights, man.
Thank you.
I want to talk about your heart condition that you were diagnosed, I believe, in 2016.
Okay.
Can you talk to our listeners about that and explain what you were going through with that and how you overcame?
Yeah. So, I retired from the UFC. I had a rough path, to say the least, after that. And, ultimately I kind of turned my life around. I quit drinking. And I was feeling mentally clearer than ever. And I thought, wow, now that I'm finally living a healthy life and stuff, I sure would like to, give fighting another shot and finish my career in a different manner than I had. That being said, I ended up signing a contract with Bellator. Went to do my pre-fight medicals, failed them. They wanted me to do an echocardiogram after that. So I had a special appointment, went and got that done. And basically they told me my ejection fraction of my heart was at 14%, and that most likely I needed a heart transplant. Wow. But the body is a magical thing. I mean, if you give it the stuff it needs, it will heal. You just got to get out of the way. Mm-hmm. So that being said, I quit drinking. I quit doing any sort of chemical recreational stuff. I moved next to the beach. I changed my diet. I changed the people I hung out with. And, I started taking multiple different supplements and powders and Eastern stuff along with the Western stuff for my heart, and slowly but surely I started coming, you know, I went back in the next time. She goes, wow, you're at 18%. Then, oh my gosh, you're at 22%. Well, guess what? We don't even need to put you on the heart transplant list. You know, we just need to put in a pacemaker, you know, at which point I said, well, if I get a pacemaker, can I grapple, you know? And she's like, no, you can't. My cardiologist says, you know, obviously, no, you can't grapple. And mind you, up until this point, this whole time I was on an absolute no exercise prescription from the doctors. They didn't even want me to walk up a set of stairs for fear I would have a heart attack.
Damn.
I didn't stop training for one day, you know. And when they told me to get that pacemaker, I went back and I had a heart to heart with my girlfriend over here, and you know, we decided, you know what? Well, she said, you know, if you don't get the pacemaker, I have to let you know you have, you know, X% chance that you will die in the next year of a cardiac condition, you know. So we went back, we talked about it, and I said, you know what, that X% is for people that don't quit drinking, for people that don't change their diet, for people that don't, you know, do all the things that I'm doing, you know. So I didn't do the pacemaker, and I continued to train every day. You know, sometimes my coach, you know, Barrett Yoshida, when I'd be grappling, would be look at me, but dude, you need to sit one out. He'd order me I get pale. I started getting real pale, so he'd order me to sit around out, you know, and that was fine. That went on for, you know, 18 months. And my heart continued to get better, Went back a year later, and, you know, I can't believe it. You know, you don't even need the pacemaker anymore, you know, and then fast forward a little further down the road, wow, you're at 40-something%. You're at the low end of normal, you know, and so then it was about then that I said, well, hey, would you sign off on me fighting now? And, you know, she says, yeah, you know, I mean, you're healthy, you're within range, you know. And even since then, you know, before my last fight, I had another echocardiogram and I was over 50. So, you know, and she's told me that most people plateau, you know, when their heart was as bad as mine, that they would hit a plateau and it wouldn't get any better. But mine has continued to improve over the years, you know, and the only thing that I can credit to is, you know, clean living more than anything, man. It's just taking care of my body, trying to keep my stress down, staying away from alcohol, and you know, I've been able to make a full recovery.
That's incredible, man. That's a very inspiring story. It's just a matter of how bad you want it. You got to put the work in and reverse it all, huh?
That's it, you know. And the flip side of that is what did it to my heart is, you know, I was training multiple hours a day, year after year after year. I was going out and partying all night long. I was burning the candle from both ends, you know, my heart just eventually couldn't keep up with the lifestyle that I was living, you know. So I'm convinced that the majority of cardiac issues out there are lifestyle driven. And to anybody out there that has something going on, you know, if you put the right effort in, you can cure it.
That's awesome, man. You're living proof.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
So all this, I'm assuming all this happened before your son was born. You have a young boy, I believe. Was when he came into your life, I'm sure that was a big eye opener too. Being a father myself, that changes a lot of perspectives on things.
It really did. You know, I was already on the path, you know, before my son was born, which I'm very grateful of. You know, he was born in sobriety. He was conceived in sobriety. You know, he's never known me any other way.
That's awesome,
and he's never going to have to.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, definitely what it made me realize is, you know, I got to be around, man. You know, it's not up to me, where before I didn't really care. You know, I really did. When I was in my 20s and early 30s, I really didn't care if I made it or didn't make it. And that's a selfish way to be, not caring about your own existence, you know.
Right.
Now I have I mean, his mother and I are that kid's whole world. He depends on us for everything, and having the growing up the way that I grew up without a father, I don't want to have that happen to him. I want to be there for him, and I want to provide him with all the stuff that I wasn't fortunate enough to have.
Yeah, these are some of my favorite situations, man. Guys or girls that grow up with one without a parent or some kind of messed up thing, and they have a chance to reverse it and give their kid what they didn't have. It's just such an awesome thing, and it's so cool that you can break that cycle too, and not
Right.
continue it, which is not easy, man. It's not easy at all. My dad did the same thing too, and it's incredible. So I have a lot of respect for you for that.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
It's awesome. You have a beautiful family too. I watched a video about you on YouTube. It was like a 4-part series.
Okay.
Leading
cool.
up to the Phil Berdoni fight, I believe is what it was for the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good. I'm gonna put a link to that in this podcast if you're cool with it, so people can see that.
Absolutely.
So, speaking of that, where are you guys at with that whole nasty situation? Did you ever get paid for that fight?
I'm still working on it. My lawyer figured Tom, he wasn't gonna get any money from Tom, so he jumped off the case. So I had to get some help, and I'm still continuing on with the case. I got a new lawyer. I had my last hearing for my judgment, but of course that got canceled because of COVID. There he is, there he is, right there.
I know all about that, man. It's all good.
Something about a dinosaur. So, and then Tom, the guy who I'm suing, he was in prison. I served him some of his paperwork in prison. I had another court date, and apparently I have to serve him some more stuff. I served the corporation, but I wasn't able to find him because they let him out early because of COVID. So,
Wow.
So he's out of prison now. Long story short, man, court shit just takes a long time. I think eventually I will get the judgment against him. Whether or not I'll ever get paid any money on that is a whole different thing. But for me, it's a principle thing at this point,
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to get that judgment to prove that, I was in the right, and that, let people know they can't do this sort of thing to fighters. It always seems like the athletes that get screwed,
Yep.
And we put our lives on the line out there, we're out there.
You guys are gladiators, man.
Little kids like that right there, everybody's got a family, everybody's got mouths to feed, and the way I look at it is you're stealing food straight from that little kid right there. When you agree to pay a fighter to perform a service, they go out and hold up their end of the bargain,
Right.
So
was it the whole card that got screwed with that, or was it just you individually?
The whole card got screwed.
Wow, that's terrible, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to throw Boss Rubin under the bus because I'm a big fan of his as well, but is he still involved with all that too? Is he holding up his deal?
I'm a big fan of Boss. I've known Boss for 20 years. It's an unfortunate situation, because as I understood it, he knew at very minimum that we were going to be late getting paid. He may have very likely known that we were never going to get paid, but at minimum, he knew that we weren't going to get paid the day of the fight. And, he affirmed to me and to other people that, we were going to get paid, the checks were going to be good. The bottom line is they weren't. I think a lot of guys would not have fought if they weren't told that, by Boss in particular, who in my case I respect. So I called him directly, and he assured me that, my check would be good. Now I get it. It's not his money. It wasn't his company. He was more just the face of the company. Yeah. But, I think either way, you maybe research a little bit more what you're part of, You know what I mean? If you're driving in the getaway car, you rob a bank, guess what? You're still going to get in trouble, man. Yep. You know what I mean? You can't be like, well, I didn't know,
Right.
So
that's such a crazy situation, man. It's unfortunate you guys got pulled into that. The only positive to it that I can think of is that you did a quick finish and you didn't take much damage.
No, I mean,
a lot worse if you'd have got injured in that fight or something too.
it would. I busted my knuckle, so that sidelined me for a while, and certainly allowed me not to take any other fights.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it could have been a lot worse.
Well, I know you can't speak for Phil Baroni because it's your opponent, but what do you think was his deal in that fight? What was his tactic trying to shoot on you in a?
Well, I thought it. Initially I was giving him way too much credit, and then I had a chance to talk to him after the fight, and he's like, no, man, you caught me with that very first uppercut. So right immediately in the fight, when he first kind of rushes in, there's a real tight uppercut that comes up the middle. You can't really see it from the camera angle, but you realize that he was rocked. He was drunk as soon as that shot hit him from there until the end of the fight. So he was just trying to stay standing on his own 2 feet. Because trust me, I didn't know what the heck was going on either. I was like, what were you trying to – I thought maybe he was trying to fake the takedown, so I dropped my hands to defend, and then he would come up with a hook or something, I really didn't know what
you know, dynamite too, so I don't doubt it, man. Got some serious heavy hands.
Yeah.
What is your personal favorite fight that you've done out of all your competition?
My favorite fight is actually a really old one. Obviously, Terry Martin was great. Obviously, Vanderlei Silva was great. But personally, my favorite fight was before I was even in the UFC. I fought a guy named Otto Olsen up in it was Edmonds, Washington, or SeaTac, or somewhere up there, Everett, Washington, somewhere up there. And he was a 4-time All-American. I think the only guy he ever lost to in wrestling was Koscheck, actually. Wrestled out of Michigan State. And he took second in Abu Dhabi back in the day. Solid guy, but he beat the shit out of me for the whole beginning of the round, took me down, then put me in his patented choke. And actually, my friend's video, you can see it's on the opposite side of the rep. I actually lift my hand to tap, and then it just goes numb because he chokes me unconscious. My hand drops. The ref doesn't notice that I'm completely out.
Holy shit.
Otto tries to readjust, and as he's readjusting, I got a little blurb of blood in the brain. Somehow I pop my head out, and stumbling backwards across the ring, he comes shooting in, and I land a left cross, knocked him out.
Damn.
Yeah, and the place goes crazy. Beers are flying everywhere. It was like midnight by this time. Everybody was super drunk. He was the hometown hero. It was pretty epic. It was a pretty epic fight for a 23-year-old kid.
Yeah, no kidding. That's incredible, man.
Yeah, thank you.
You always had great comebacks, man. It's like you kicked into another gear whenever shit hit the fan, and the scary Leben would come out.
It's self-preservation.
Yeah.
When you're getting hit in the face, you only got two options. You can run away, or you can try to hit them back so that they stop.
Yeah. It's impressive, man. What was the origin of the red hair, dyeing your hair the red color that you used to do?
Well, Ed Herman, you know who Ed Herman is. Ed Herman is one of my best friends.
Short fuse.
Short fuse, and we came up fighting each other every day on the same team, Team Quest. And I remember one time we were having a conversation about, hey, how are we going to get these promoters to remember us, And that's when I came up with, I'm going to dye my hair bright red and paint my toes black, and funny thing is, he didn't do it. I started doing it, and you know what? It fucking stuck, man. It stuck, and people remembered me because of that. Then next thing you know, all fighters were dyeing their hair bright red.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big believer in that, making yourself marketable stuff, because it stood out for you. It made you more of an icon to look at. Anderson Silva with the black and yellow, Chuck with the blue and white shorts, all that. It makes you
You
guys
know,
more marketable.
it's half the battle.
Yeah.
We are, if they don't care, that love you or hate you, that's the important thing. People, you have to remember, we're half WWE, half professional athlete in the sport.
Right.
Part of your job is to put asses in seats. And if you don't do that, that cuts into your value.
For sure. Were you a wrestling fan growing up? Fake
I
wrestling
was.
entertainment?
Oh yeah.
No,
Big
fake
time.
is a derogatory term with those guys. Say entertainment wrestling.
Well, I mean, there ain't nothing fake about a 300-pound dude doing a flip off the top rope.
No shit, man.
You know what I mean? Like those dudes get hurt. Those
Yeah.
dudes, you look at their list of injuries, probably substantially worse than even a UFC fighter.
Yeah, and they just are nonstop too, traveling, working out, going to the next event. That's a brutal.
On the road all the time. Oh, yeah. I mean, I used to think it was so cool when I was a kid, but as I got older, I realized, man, that's a life I wouldn't want to have.
Yeah, for sure, man. You're giving away your life for
hard years.
Body and,
hard years, those ones. Yeah.
Who are your favorite wrestlers growing up, man?
I mean, obviously, I was a big Hulk Hogan guy. All of us were. I was Ultimate Warrior. Was I always thought I was kind of like the Ultimate Warrior as a little kid. And then also, I grew up in Portland, Oregon, and we used to go to Portland Wrestling, and watch it live sometimes. And that was Roddy Piper would show up there a lot, Art Barr and Beetlejuice, some of those local guys, so. But yeah, man, there was a lot of them. We were always wrestling as kids, throwing each other off the bed, doing, always having a 4-on-4 wrestling match type deal.
Yeah, us too, man. That was everything when we were younger.
Yep.
So you were a WWF kind of a guy then, back in the day?
Yeah, I mean,
WCW at all?
Yeah, I did, but we're talking way back in the day.
Yeah.
We're talking like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I have friends now that watch the WWE religiously. It's literally like a soap opera for tattooed men. It's a
Yeah, for sure.
They know it's fake. They don't care. They're all into it. They love it. They love the shit talking and the hype. I can't do it too much anymore. I watch a little bit, but not not a lot. Not like I did when I was 10.
Yeah, same here. Mine probably lasted longer than that. Unfortunately, I didn't grow up too late, but I don't watch it anymore. I tried watching a little bit recently, and it just doesn't have that same appeal that it did when we were younger. I showed my wife the WWE, trying to show her what it was, because it's alien to her. And trying to explain that to her is so ridiculous. She's like, what the hell are they doing? She was cringing out pretty bad, but she watches MMA with me, thankfully, though. That's the most important thing.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Yeah, we're big fans of you, big time, man. So is my brother. I got a couple questions that I'm throwing around for this podcast. I'm not sure if I'm going to do them or not. My other podcast, I do 6 questions every time at the end of it. And it's kind of a thing, but I'm going to try to do a couple of these and see how they go. And you don't know these ahead of time either, so if you don't want to answer it, just say skip. They're generic shit, though. What's a movie that you can watch over and over without getting tired of?
Star Wars.
Oh, really? You're a Star Wars guy, huh?
Well, you made me answer quick, man. I like Indiana Jones, Star Wars, those kind of movies. I watch them over and over again. Probably wouldn't admit the Star Wars thing. In a social setting. I'm not a weirdo Star Wars fan, but I do enjoy the movies.
Yeah, I was talking to Punk Ass from Tap Out recently, and he's a big Star Wars guy too. I didn't know that. What did you think of the last 3 that came out? Did you see those?
I haven't even seen the most recent one yet.
Okay.
I haven't had a chance to see that. The other 2 were all right. I thought for Disney taking over, they did a decent.
Yeah.
it could have been worse. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, for sure. Is your little boy into it yet?
But I mean, yeah, he's got a sore. He's always running around hitting stuff. He's fighting everything all the time.
That's awesome. My little girls, I don't have any sons. My little girls are obsessed with Indiana Jones, which makes me proud because that was one of my favorites as a kid too.
Okay.
I watch it on repeat.
Yeah.
Good stuff. What's the best practical joke that you've been played on, or you played on somebody else, if you can think of?
The best practical joke.
Tough one. Wasn't a practical joke. That was uncalled for.
Yeah. I think, I had a guy, one of my good friends, Tommy, when he first started training with me, we had convinced him that only pussies would ever complain about getting kicked in the leg. And, I forgot, and I just kicked the shit out of his leg one day, and he wasn't complaining, so I kept kicking him, Now, fast forward, it's like 2 weeks later, and I turn around, and he's, like, barely walking, And I go, dude, what's wrong with your leg? And he goes, oh, nothing, it's fine. Poor guy had been limping around for a month because I kept kicking him in the same bruise. Just totally to be an asshole. I was like, oh, only girls complain about getting kicked in the leg. You know what I mean? Like, so the poor guy was limping for a month, thinking he was being a wussy. that one just kind of came to hand as recently,
Yeah, for anybody that doesn't train or have ever been kicked in the leg, man, that's a painful hit. That shit will stay with you multiple times in the same spot. They'll fold up.
Yeah.
Sure. What's an accomplishment that you're most proud of?
For me, was I'm pretty proud of being able to turn my health conditions around, change my life around, and make a comeback in bare knuckle. And if I never fight again, my last fight in bare knuckle, I had 2 first-round knockouts and 1 5-round war, which is a lot better than the way I finished my UFC career. So for me to be able to make that comeback and go out there and compete again and hopefully, inspire some people and share my story with people that are dealing with similar situations and be able to inspire them and show them that it can be done, that, lasting sobriety can be achieved and you put your mind to it, you can accomplish it and change your life around, So for me, I think that's probably, my most proudest accomplishment. During this COVID thing, I've had the opportunity, I volunteered and went to 5 different rehab places and actually shared my story with them. And, it's a pretty powerful message to be able to go and help inspire people and maybe make a difference in their life.
It really is, man. It's awesome. It's such a cool thing that you can, that you did that and that you're continuing it, because it's not you just do it and done. It's an ongoing battle, I'm sure. So,
no, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Lots of respect for that. If you could change one thing in your life, what would it be? I'm not sure about this question. It's kind of a negative question.
So I was talking about a similar situation earlier this morning, and, I wouldn't be who I am today, and I wouldn't be who I'm going to be tomorrow if it wasn't for the mistakes I made. I wouldn't be able to go in and talk to a group of individuals that are suffering with alcoholism and addiction and inspire them if I hadn't been through that.
Right.
So a lot of there's a lot of mistakes I made in my life. And I feel like you can look at it 2 ways. You can resent it and you can be upset and bitter, or you could choose to think that everything happens for a reason and that I went through that stuff so that I can hopefully share and inspire and help other people so that maybe they don't have to go through it quite as bad as I did.
Yeah, and you can find a way out quicker.
There you go.
Through your inspiration. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, you flipped a negative question to a positive, so I appreciate that.
Thanks, man.
Let's see. This is probably the last one I have for you. What is an item in your home that is sentimental for you? That's special that you can share with us.
You know, I got a couple things, but just because of the way that I grew up, I'm so anti-clingy. I throw my old lady's over here pointing at stuff. I guess I got a bunch of stuff. You know, this mask on the wall up here I got from Africa. I have an award over here on the wall that I got from doing some military training a group of military guys that I'm not even supposed to show you the award. It's so secret. So that one I'm pretty proud of too. You know, there's a shrunken head I got from Thailand. You know, just little trinkets from around the world, a couple things, you know. But again, I really don't attach myself to things, you know.
Right.
My mom was a legitimate hoarder.
Yeah.
And because of that, like, I'm like out with the old, in with the new. You know what I mean? Like, I'm one of those people that if I buy a backpack, for example, I'm going to look for 10 hours, buy the best backpack possible. And as soon as I get it, my old one's going in the trash. You know, I just, that's, you know, I'm not a picture guy. I'm not big on pictures. I'm not, you know, just not a sentimental guy like that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's different, man. That's cool. You got some neat stuff. The shrunken head thing, that's pretty creepy. Those things.
Yeah.
You said you got that in Thailand?
I think so. Yeah. It's I couldn't afford the human one. Let me see if you can see that here. Oh, my finger's in the way. Wait, where's that? Right there.
Oh, cool.
So that's actually like a little dog skull.
Yeah.
You see, it's kind of pretty cool.
Yeah, stuff
like
around the world is extra cool. Did you train with Mike Swick's place?
No, I didn't. But I did one time kind of travel the world with Mike Swick. That was fun. I got that mask in Africa. Mike Swick was there when I got that. So
cool.
We're doing a USO tour for the military together, him and I.
Yeah, I think I remember that. That was 2007, 8 era.
Oh, it was a while ago now.
Yeah.
It was a while ago. Yeah.
A couple more questions and I'll let you go, man. I appreciate you coming on. Who do you enjoy watching fight these days in Bellator and UFC, 1FC, all that?
Man, that Justin Gaethje sure looked good this weekend, didn't he?
Yeah, he's
Ferguson,
like the same planet as you, man.
I'm a big Ferguson fan, you know? Yeah, he does a similar thing where it's like Ferguson would hit him with his best shot, and you could see he would think he was going to be able to open up, and boom, he'd take his best shot and then answer right back.
Yeah, that was an incredible fight.
I thought that fight was incredible. I'd be really excited to watch him fight Khabib because I'm a huge Khabib fan. I like what he does. It's just old school, ground and pound, take you down and beat you up and wear you out. And it's just so hard to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So hard to deal with, you know. So that one I'm looking forward to. I hope they make that fight happen.
Yeah, I think they will. I think they kind of have to now. Who do you think has the best shot at beating Khabib out of Gaethje, Ferguson, or Poirier? Even though Poirier already had a crack at him.
Yeah, Poirier's been out for a little bit too. I had a chance to see him. I talked to him for a while, like one bare knuckle ago. He's from the South, so he was out there watching the bare knuckle.
We're from the same hometown, Lafayette, Louisiana.
Lafayette, yeah, and I know he had that hip surgery, you know. So hopefully he's healing up well, and we'll see how he looks when he comes back, you know. But right now, I think Gaethje's the man, right? That's the one you got to line up, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Ferguson, Khabib, as you've probably seen the memes, as I have. That fight is dead.
Yeah, that would be the 6th time that they try to put it together if they do, which is insane. I think that's a record for a fight falling through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Gaethje's your guy that you got your eyes on right now.
I think so.
What do you think about Tyson coming back, doing another fight? It looks like. You seen any of that?
Bare knuckle, same organization as me. It looks like.
Oh wow, I didn't know it was gonna be bare knuckle.
Yeah.
Tyson's bare knuckle is terrifying.
$20 million bare knuckle boxing. That's what I heard. That's what I saw online.
Wow.
You know, I don't believe nothing until it happens. You know,
Right.
so we'll see. I saw him. I've been watching the videos of him hitting pads. He looks fast and explosive like he always did. You know what I mean?
Are you gonna be on that card as well? Oh, you froze on me.
You there?
Yep. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. All right. Great. Wonderful.
We're back. So it's internet issues at your house, or is it Zoom, or what's going on?
I think it's my internet. You know, I don't know why today decided to be the day it's going to mess up, but yeah, it's doing some weird stuff.
Weird too.
I apologize.
Oh, you're good, man. Don't worry about it. This is a very informal podcast. I don't know if you were in mid-sentence or what. I can't remember where we left off. Do you remember?
I mean, it was just that we were talking about, you know, Gaethje and the UFC, and
Right.
you know, and I pretty much said I said all, you know, I'm you know, him and Khabib is kind of the fight that I'm looking to see, you know, and
What do you think about guys in where you train at? I believe it's called the Arena. Is that correct?
yeah, well, we got a ton of great guys. You know, we got some pros that have been recently fighting in, you know, King of the Cage and Bellator, and, you know, kind of waiting for that call to the next level up. You know, everybody had fights booked. Everybody's fights got canceled. So, you know, it's we're kind of in a holding pattern right now.
Right. That's what I was asking you when it went out. You think you'll be able to get on that Mike Tyson card if that comes together?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'll talk to Dave Feldman. You know what I mean. You know, whether I fight one more or I retire is still kind of up in the air. Kind of depends what Dave wants to do, how long it's going to take. I have some goals, you know, in my personal life and some goals in my career life that I want to focus on, and kind of being back to fighting has kind of made me have to tap the brakes on those goals. So
Right.
yeah, I'm getting a little antsy to start working towards that stuff, you know, i.e. moving up as a ref, you know, and, you know, so I can't sit around forever.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah. As one of your fans, for sure, I would love to watch you fight again. But man, you have nothing else to prove. Your career is so incredible, and your next venture with refereeing is really exciting too. I love seeing guys post their fight career, do things still in the sport, and still contribute.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
It's real exciting to see. So being a referee in California, are you only allowed to do California events, or how does that work?
Well, I mean, you see a lot of referees that go from, like Jason Herzog. You see him all over the place. You know, he refs here in California. He refs in Las Vegas. He was on the Florida card this weekend. But you have to get licensed, sanctioned by every state, you know.
Oh, okay.
However, I will say California is the toughest one.
Yeah.
You know, so if you start off at the top, I think it makes it a little bit easier to go ahead and get those other sanctionings.
Right. That's awesome, man. I'm excited about that for you. Where can our listeners find you, and what all do you want to plug, sir?
You know, I'm on Instagram all the time. I think it's Chris Leben MMA on Instagram for the blue check. You know, that's usually what I post to. It links to my Facebook, to my Twitter. Other than that, you know, check me out on my, you know, the gym, which is thearenagym.com. You know, if they want to check that out, or we have a great YouTube channel for the gym. My girl's got a YouTube channel for all the stuff going on at our house. What's our YouTube channel, honey? Britt Wainio and Chris Leben. She's always posting about, you know, my home workouts, my diet, my recovery stuff. So if anybody's interested in that stuff, check it out.
Yeah, for sure. We'll add all those links to this episode.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on, Chris. I appreciate it. Tell your wife I said thank you for letting me have a few moments with you too. I appreciate that, man. And we look forward to
All right.
what's
All
next.
right, man. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Later.